An atheist writer is gunned down in Jordan. The National Secular Society fights caste-based discrimination. Gender identity rights are dealt a blow in Michigan. Orthodoxy infiltrates Israeli Defense Force. And we look at some interesting findings about Americans' views on enhancing the human body. Those are the headlines for the week of Saturday, October 1st, 2016.
This is Atheist Lowdown with Mark Vanderbrink.
Hello and welcome. Jordanian and atheist writer Nahad Hodder was killed this past Sunday after being shot 3 times while attempting to enter a courthouse in Amman. Hodder was scheduled for a hearing after illegally posting a cartoon titled The God of Daesh, depicting a man in heaven flanked by 2 women in bed and asking God to wait on him. According to Reuters, he was charged with contempt of religion and sowing sectarian tensions. Hodder had apologized and clarified that the cartoon was meant to, quote, mock fundamentalist Sunni radicals and what he said was their vision of God and heaven. Outrage extended beyond Jordan's borders. For instance, the following is disturbing footage of an Egyptian television host supporting the murder.
امبارح كاتب أردني ناهد حطر تم اغتياله قبل دقائق من مثوله أمام المحكمة الأردنية. كان رسم منذ عدة أيام كاريكاتير، يعني اعتبروا البعض وأنا كمان اعتبرته مهينا ومسيئا لذات الإلهية. قبل ما يمثل بدقائق قدام المحكمة الأردنية تم اغتياله ليمثل أمام المحكمة الإلهية. وأنا بأعلن عن الهواء مباشرة، يعني امبارح كان في حاله من الجدل، البعض بيشوف ان دي رسم لكاريكاتير مسيء للذات الالهيه، ده يعتبر حريه فكر او تعبير او حريه راي، يعمل اللي هو عاوزه او ينتقد اللي هو عاوزه، وشايفين ان ده شهيد الحريه والراي والكلمه. بس انا شايف غير كده خالص، ان من حقك تنتقد رئيس او امير او ملك، ولكن ليس من حقك انك انت تشخص او ترسم او تهين او تسيء الذات الالهيه. وانا شخصيا بعلن عن رايي في اغتيال الكاتب الأردني ناهد حطر، إن أنا مع قتله، وإن هو النهاردة بعد اغتياله هيمثل أمام.
A spokesperson for New York's Committee to Protect Journalists said that, quote, Hodder's killing is a direct result of lack of commitment to freedom of expression by Jordanian authorities. To help remind everyone about such a commitment, yesterday, September 30th, was International Blasphemy Rights Day. The Center for Inquiry launched the day to mark the anniversary of the 2005 publication of controversial cartoons depicting Mohammed by Danish newspaper The Jutland Post. Blasphemy is potentially dangerous throughout the world, and there are even a number of countries where it is still a crime. In Afghanistan, Pakistan, Turkmenistan, and Saudi Arabia, death remains an acceptable punishment. Even 14 European nations maintain anti-blasphemy laws. And while ruled unconstitutional, 6 U.S. states also have such laws on the books. If you would like to help protect individuals in areas where criticizing religion may result in their death or imprisonment, I encourage contributing to the CFI's Secular Rescue Project by following the link below. The London-based National Secular Society continues to call on the government to outlaw caste-based discrimination. Criticism from the group comes in part after a woman was awarded £200,000 after being kept in, quote, domestic servitude by a couple who employed her for over 4 years on £11 an hour, forcing her to sleep on the floor after working long days. They also prohibited her from contacting her family and from bringing her Bible with her from India, telling her that she would have no time to read whilst she was working. NSS has accused the government of stalling since the enactment of the Equality Act of 2010, which does not include caste as a protected class because the government did not think at the time that there were any instances of such discrimination. However, it is estimated that as many as 200,000 people have been victims of caste-based discrimination. Despite pressure from the UN and other groups, the government has yet to revisit the issue. The Equality Employment Opportunity Commission, on behalf of a Michigan resident, has lost a federal court case in a ruling that allows employers to discriminate against transgender employees if it conflicts with their religious beliefs. A funeral home fired Amy Stevens 2 weeks after announcing she was having sex reassignment surgery. The funeral home director said that he did not fire Stevens for being transgender, but that, quote, he was no longer going to represent himself as a man. He wanted to dress as a woman, and this violated the company's dress code. Americans United called the decision broad and troubling for its interpretation of the Religious Freedom Restoration Act as a license to discriminate because it allows employers to violate the Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which bars discrimination in employment on the basis of race, sex, and other protected classifications. The court dismissed both a claim that transgender lies within Title VII's definition of sex and that the funeral home director was sex stereotyping. A new book by Yanni Magal describes the increasing significance and number of Orthodox Jews in the Israeli Defense Force, in what journalist David Zoldan calls one of the most significant issues facing present-day Israel. The IDF has traditionally been a secular force, where strict observant soldiers were rare. However, now some 35% of officers in the training school are observant. Zoldan reports that, quote, a desire to wield influence in the IDF after their relatively inferior status in the past to being behind the rapid increase in the number of religious officers and the key posts they now occupy. However, the military appears to be a significant secularizing force. A survey found that half of Orthodox soldiers and 70 to 80% of officers stopped being observant during their service, and most did not go back after they were discharged. The intentions of Orthodox leaders and the consequences of such a shift remain unclear. According to a Pew Research poll, highly religious Americans are less likely to approve scientific advancements to enhance human abilities. The less religious are much more receptive to such enhancements, with 63% approving of gene editing giving their baby a much reduced disease risk. Michael Lipka writes that, quote, many people who said these technologies would be morally unacceptable explain their position with references to changing God's plan. In the case of a computer chip in the brain, some opponents connected this idea to the mark of the beast, a reference involving Satan in the Bible's book of Revelation. Some 80% of atheists and agnostics say these future improvements are no different than other ways we try to better ourselves, while 63% of white evangelical Protestants think it is meddling with nature. The full report is in the description below. That's the lowdown for this week. Remember, stay secular, my friends.